Hello there folks, and welcome back to another speed paint video. I'm back again with another concept that we did fairly recently, which is Eeveelutions based on types that don't exist in the Pokemon games. So these are going to be varied from ones that feel adjacent to actual types in video games, and some that are truly just very strange, or just silly. So I had a lot of fun with these. It's another 6 designs that I just thought were super cute, so I'm very excited to share them all with you. So without further ado, let's get into the speed paint. The first design was one that actually almost made it into the first video, and that is the atomic type. I was a little bit stumped on the colors for this one for a while, but I knew I definitely wanted something kind of light blue, since that's a color I often associate with chemistry, probably just because my chem notebooks in high school were probably blue if I remember right. And I thought it would be fun to go with like a complementary palette, so like primarily like blue colors, but then also some orange accents. I wanted this thing to feel like it has a lot of orbit-like aspects, right? Like orbitals is a thing that describes how electrons move around on an atom. I wanted it to not feel radioactive, right? Because that's not like the only thing that an atom is known for. They're like, you know, just a particle. They aren't just dangerous stuff. So I wanted it to feel friendly and like it could be at home as literally a teacher's pet. Or this is a creature that might appear in an educational cartoon, maybe. It's just very friendly, very clever, it's willing to learn, it's willing to teach. And I wanted it just to have a lot of like round aspects to it. I wanted it to feel like it has a space adjacent vibe, but not like an alien. So this one definitely took a lot of like trial and error, especially when it came to like how I wanted to arrange the values. It just took me a while to find a result that I was happy with, but ultimately I ended up with this design that I'm very pleased with. I had a lot of fun like incorporating different little balls to incorporate like how one represents atoms in different diagrams or like the components of an atom. So yeah, it was just a lot of fun to incorporate like this chemical concept into a Pokemon design. And this guy turned out so cute. Next up, we have Bubble, another blue and round sort of evolution design, but very different from Atomic. Instead of having this like spacey synthetic vibe, I wanted this thing to feel very organic, round, glossy. I don't know, I just wanted it to feel wet, right? Because it's a bubble. Bubbles have to be wet. That's just how it works when you're a bubble. So I wanted this thing to feel like it was a little bit liquid in nature, even more so than like when Vaporeon dissolves into water. I wanted this thing to feel like it's always just water in the shape of a cat. I wanted its mane to be very nice and fluffy to call back to Eevee's original white fluffy mane. And also it kind of reminds me a bit of like Froakie's like frill of bubbles as well, so that leads into more Pokemon kind of visual language. It's also just fun to render bubbles, right? Like their way they're rendered is so different, I feel like, depending on the art style. So what I ended up doing was I came up with these like shaded bits that have a gradient in them to give them a little bit of depth and visual interest. And then I added lots of glossy highlights all over to really make this thing feel like it's just soggy, wet, and shiny, and very, like, clean to look at, right? Like, it's not just like a water bubble, but it's also kind of evoking the idea of like a soap bubble, right? It's a very sudsy little creature who is very cute. I also gave it like this little frill on its head that kind of reminds me of the Jigglypuff curl, but also since a lot of Eeveelutions have a little thing on their head anyway, I thought a nice round lump like that would evoke, like, the bubble idea and still make it feel like it's just like a fancy cat or pet that someone has. I don't know, I just wanted this thing to feel fancy, cute, and very clean. And oh boy, yeah, this guy looks like it could clean everything in the world, honestly. It turned out super duper cute. Next up, we have one with a very different mood. It's the blood type. This one I didn't want to just go with like a horror thing, but I did want it to feel like it has a lot of horror inspirations. And I also wanted it to have like a vampiric feel since, you know, vampires, blood, it's very easy to make those be related to each other, right? Because if I just made a plain red, like, cat or dog design, that wouldn't be very interesting. So I thought that the vampire aesthetic would help give me more direction to go with when it came to actually designing the character. So it has like this tall collar, like it's wearing an ominous cloak. It's got little white paws on the front to make it look like it's wearing gloves. And it's got like a widow's peak type pattern on its face, kind of resembling what Sylveon has actually, but this one's a little bit more evil looking, whereas Sylveon is just like a friendly little cat. And I wanted its design to also feel very round, since blood cells themselves are also just very round, donut-y kind of looking things. At least in my eyes, they look very much like a little donut. So I made its ears very round and indented in the way that, like, blood cells are often depicted in cartoons. And I made its tail very similar to, like, the bubbling tail from the bubble-type evolution, but this one's got, like, a more obviously solid feel, because it's not water, right? Like, blood is not totally, like, crystal clear the way water is. It's a lot more turbid. So it's nice and dense looking. It's got, like, these big, shiny red eyes that are very fun. And I want this thing to feel like it looks serious, but not necessarily scary. I don't know. Not terribly edgy, right? Like, it's blood type, it's not creepy type. That's what the creepy one was for from last time. This guy could be at home and be friends with the creepy one, but it's totally fine doing its own thing. Maybe it's also got, like, healing capabilities. I think that would be very relevant for a blood type to have, like, a diverse moveset of draining life and redistributing, like, hit points among other teammates. Who's to say? Either way, I just had fun with this guy. It turned out really cute. And I actually did this one along with the next one on stream on my Twitch channel. So if you want to see me do art for some of these speed paints, go follow my Twitch channel. And I don't have a firm schedule yet, but maybe I will in the future. So if you're interested, go check that out. Either way, I really like how this vampiric Eevee came out. Next up is a prompt that was suggested by my girlfriend, which is Vorpal. And Vorpal is a fun word. It's a Lewis Carroll original. It's originally used in the context of the Vorpal sword, which was the sword that could slay the Jabberwocky in Alice in Wonderland. And it has since been used to, like, mean any sort of blade that is meant for slaying some kind of mythical, magical, or evil creature. Most recently, I can remember it's in, like, the Roku original version of the Spiderwick Chronicles. They have the Vorpal sword there. That's where I most recently remember seeing it. But I thought it would be fun to make, like, a fairy tale knight sort of inspired design that feels steel-type adjacent, but I want it to have, like, this honorable dragon slaying vibe. Like, it's not just any knight, it's, like, the ideal of, like, a noble knight. I don't know. I thought that would be kind of fun. So its tail is very much like a sword, you know, like the Vorpal sword. Vorpal also can mean, like, a twisted sword, so I thought, like, a curved edge would be appropriate for that. It's got a battle marking on its eye to kind of make it look like it's rugged and has seen some challenges. And it's also got, like, this steel cravat sort of vibe as, like, the neck frill accent that it's got, since many evolutions have something like that. And I thought that gave it, like, a castle-dwelling vibe that makes it different from just any knight design. Like, this thing is at a castle and maybe fighting a dragon or something. Who's to say? I don't know. It's very cute, though. I wanted it to kind of feel like it's got the vibe of, like, a middle-aged man, if that makes any sense. Like, just a little bit, not a lot. I want it to feel like it's old and it's seen some tough things in its life, but it's also still very noble and means well, and I wanted the shading to also make it feel very shiny, since it's very metallic in nature. This is definitely, like, the closest to another type that we've had since the bubble type, which was very close to water. This one's very close to steel, I think, in its design, but I think I managed to get to the Vorpal angle by making it feel very fairy tale-like, with its different elements, its regal vibe. Like, it's not just a swordsman, it's like a noble knight in a tail, and I think that's a lot of fun. This design was honestly, like, such an unexpected highlight of this batch, so I'm very happy with how it came out. Next up, we have a silly type, because how could I do one of these without incorporating something very silly, and that is toast. I thought bread would just make for a very good, you know, visual thing to turn into a character design, and toast just lent itself well to a good variety of colors, so I could really access the full spectrum of, like, values in brown, whether it be light to dark or in the middle somewhere. So I made its tail kind of look like a baguette. It's got a big pat of butter on its head as its nice accent. It's got grill marks on its body as stripes. And I just wanted this thing to feel very simple and like it could really be at home in a bakery. There's a lot of awesome Pokemon out there that are based on food. One of the most recent ones that are bread-like are, of course, Fido and Doxbun, who are both bread dogs. So this is kind of something that would be friends with those, but is definitely very different, right? Like, Dachshund and Fido are very round sourdough bread type dogs, whereas this one is very much like in the square tradition of like sliced bread that you see at least in the US a lot, as well as like borrowing elements from specifically like toasted bread or like grilled cheese or something like that. And it's got like a lot of buttery elements too. Like it's not just like artisanal bread as much as it's like kind of breakfast toast. I mean, of course, it's a toast type. That makes a lot of sense. This one's honestly just super simple. Like there's really not a lot to it other than I thought it would be funny to incorporate bread elements into a design and make a toast type. And honestly, I'm very pleased with it. I think it came out really cute. I think it's a real sleeper hit among this batch, and I just think this thing's awesome. The last one we have is another type that almost made it into the first video, and that is the spiral type. Really going with an Uzumaki vibe. I still need to read Uzumaki. I know, I need to read it. I will, I promise. Now, spiral type here has a lot of different spiraling elements in its design, such as its mane, the puff on its hair, its ears, its tail, all the markings on it. I just wanted to incorporate as many spirals into its shapes as I could. And this was just so much fun. I think this was another one that I did on stream, if I remember right. This was something I did on my Twitch, so again, if you want to see any of my speed paints drawn live, go find my Twitch channel, I'll link it below, and I hope to see you there, because it's a fun time just chilling and drawing art. The spiral design's a lot of fun. I made it have spirally eyes, but you can only kind of see because it's very low contrast. It makes it so it still reads clearly as an Eeveelution face at a distance, since they typically have very dark eyes. But when you get up close, you can see this thing's a little bit wonky. It's got the spirally shape instead of just clear pupils. And I don't know, I think I was kind of inspired by the way they handle spirals and similar shapes in like the Wind Waker art style a little bit, which is to say like a very stylized version of like old Japanese paintings and stuff like that. But I also wanted it to feel like, I don't know, like it's modern furniture, if that makes any sense. Of course, modern furniture is very angular. It doesn't really have very round shapes. But I thought like this grayscale black and white thing would really emphasize a shape first design perspective on the spiral type. And I thought it would be super cool. Plus this gray color almost reminds me a little bit of like a hurricane cloud now that I'm looking at it, which I think is also appropriate for a spiral inspired design. Overall, this one is ultimately like, it's a simple design philosophy, but I think it came together to make a very fun design, and I'm very pleased I finally got this one done. And with that, that's all the designs I've got for you guys today, so thank you all so much for watching. If I sound a little funny in this video, my apologies, I'm sick this week, so I have no idea if my voiceover is gonna sound weird or not, but either way, thank you all for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know which one of the designs was your favorite. I had a lot of fun with all of them. Honestly, it's hard for me to pick a favorite, I think they're all just so cute. Thank you to my Ko-fi members for helping to make this video possible. My Ko-fi members help me achieve my dream of making art my main living, and help support the channel by making my income a little bit more consistent. I really appreciate each of you. If you'd like to support them, you can go check out my Ko-fi page, where I have, of course, memberships where you can sign up for as little as $1 a month, as well as the shop, and you can follow me for blog updates as to what I'm up to. I also recommend checking out my VGen page if you're interested in any commissions. At the time of recording, I basically just got verified, so I have a whole bunch of new listings on there if you want me to design characters for you, do character art for you, make you stream assets. Really, whatever, I'm willing to try it. Feel free to reach out to me on my VGen and let's see if we can make something together. This weekend is also the last weekend for my Sweet Mothman Stickers Kickstarter campaign. At the time of recording, we are not even halfway to our goal, but hopefully we'll be a little further by the time you guys are seeing this. I'd really like to fund this project so I can print some more stickers, since I'm going to be going to a cryptid art show later in the year, so I would love to have more stuff for it. So if you're interested in getting some cute dessert-inspired Mothman stickers, go check out the link in the description below and get these guys before the campaign ends on Sunday morning. And with that, that is all that I've got for you guys today, so thank you all again so much for watching this video. I hope to see you next week with another art video. And in the meantime, why don't you guys go out there and make some art.